Hey everyone, this is Kirk here again at optionalpha.com, where we show you how to make smarter trades. In tonight's video, we're going to talk about the Market Watch tab inside of thinkorswim that basically covers all corporate and economic calendar events that might happen. So this is actually a very useful section, and we're going to go through it here on the video so you understand how you can use it and obviously customize it to fit what you're doing in trading. So inside of thinkorswim, again, this is underneath of the Market Watch tab is going to be the actual calendar itself. Now, noticeably in this video, between the last video and this one, we skipped over the visualize and financing rate sub tabs. We don't use those. We kind of covered those briefly in the first video that just getting the layout of the platform here, but we don't use those at all. I don't think that they're useful for options or stock trading that much. So we're going to cover the actual calendar here. When you first notice the calendar, you'll see that everything is shown on the left-hand side. This is your first basically area that you're going to be able to filter out some of the data that comes in through here. So everything from dividends and earnings to conference calls and splits, etc. There's only a couple key ones that we really use here inside of what we do at Option Alpha and what you should be doing as an options trader. We're going to take out the market drive, the futures, and splits, conference calls, etc. What we'll mainly be using, if you want to, is really dividends, earnings, and then any ETF dividend distribution date. You can also, if you want to, take out the Econo Day event. This is basically going to really kind of cut this thing down even more, because when you add that in, that's going to be things like machine orders. I mean, you can just basically hover over any of these tabs and see what they are, like T-bill auctions. Some of that stuff doesn't really make a lot of sense to have in here all the time. You can use a different service like FinViz or economic calendars online just to see what the major market updates are going to be in the future. So you could put this in there, you could not. We usually take it out just as far as kind of scaling this thing back. So from here, you're left with earnings, dividends, and ETF dividend distributions, which are all the most important dates that you at least need to be aware of, right? That you can trade around, that you at least have cognitive visualization of knowing where they are inside of like a given 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 day range, right? Not that you make any distinct difference when something happens, but you just should obviously know that they're there. Now within here, you can obviously type in a ticker symbol that you want to see, like let's say PCLN, which is Priceline. And as soon as you do that, it will then filter out everything that you have in here and just show you what Priceline's basically actions are. So you can see in this time frame that we're looking at, which is March 2017 at the time that we're doing this video, Priceline had earnings at the end of February on the 27th. And so you can see that was the only event that they had given that time period. If we did something different like Home Depot, you can see Home Depot has a dividend that they're going to pay here on this date on the 7th of March. Okay, so they're going to go through and pay that dividend tomorrow, which is tomorrow, the date that we're doing this video. So really easy to go through and just kind of type things in. Again, what you can do in here is you can hit this gear icon and you can say, okay, only my current positions. So this is really helpful if you're just kind of looking and say, okay, what's going to affect any current positions that we have? So you can see if I just toggled on current positions and scroll down here, there's really nothing that we have as far as current positions this month or next month. So these ones are things that are on our watch list, but we don't have active, positions in managing those, at least for that expiration period. So that will help you kind of show you anything that has, current account positions or all account positions, whatever, the case is. You can also filter this by your watch list. So this is something that we do often as well. So let's go back to March expiration. And so now it has all of the securities that are in our watch list, and it filters and says, okay, of the things that are on our watch list, here are the things that we need to be looking out for, right? Like, so now I know, for example, hey, I'm going to be looking out for dividend payments on these ETFs on this day, or on any of these securities on this day, or earnings for Oracle or MU coming up in the future, right? So we get a good idea of what's kind of coming on the horizon so that we can plan our week. This is something that we do, by the way, for elite members. When we do our weekly strategy calls, we always jump in here and kind of take a look at the week in advance so we just know exactly what's happening this week. So it's something I suggest you do, whether you're part of our elite group or not, is definitely take a look at this at least once a week so you have a good idea of what's coming up on the horizon. You can also go through and obviously do all the regular watch list stuff. So you can look up any of these big market movers or NASDAQ or whatever the case is, anything that you want to save in here as a watch list or any predefined public watch list can also be filtered in here so you know exactly what you're looking at. Again, the biggest thing is with earnings trades, please double check when the actual earnings event happens. I see this all too often. People see, like, for example, that Oracle is releasing earnings on the 15th of March, but they don't see that it's after the market, right? So sometimes it's before the market, sometimes it's after the market. Very infrequently is it during the market. All these ones here are basically after the market. After the market. Here's a before the market for BBRY, right? So before the market. So just know exactly when that earnings event is going to be released. If it is really the 31st during that trading session, or if basically at the market open, the market's going to reprice because that earnings has already happened before the actual open of the market. So again, just another little tip there to help out. All right, so thank you again so much for watching this video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section right below. If you love this video, thought it was helpful, gained any little insight from it, please consider sharing it online. Help us spread the word about what we're trying to do here at Option Alpha. And until next time, happy trading.